quick because it's gone 9 o'clock, and like I said, things can get a little bit hairy at this time. Well, it's definitely going to happen with this man involved because he was given a strict instruction by the heavy drinking Dean to get on the tequila, so he's ramped up and ready for the occasion. It's Mr. Steve N. Allen, ready to riff all over that news. Hi, Steve.
Hello, can I just say it's a pleasure to be described as hairy, because as a balding man, I don't get that very often, so thank you. Just clinging on to the last bits.
There you go. You're hairy to me. You're extremely hirsute comedically, can I just say. There are some beautiful things going on at the moment. Dean has been excavating all the best clips from social media to just put in your direction so I can drag you back like a Tonka toy and watch you zoom off into the ether. Let us begin with our number one favourite mayor of them all, Mr. Sadiq Khan.
My name is Sadiq Khan. I'm the Mayor of London and a proud Fabian. I'm here at the annual conference of the Fabian Society in the Guildhall, where I've delivered a speech saying that us progressives, us Fabians, should be talking up the benefits of immigration. I think as a country we've allowed the far right and others to frame this debate with hatred, hysteria and fear-mongering being used, and I think we've got to, as progressives, talk up the benefits of lawful migration with the three principles of compassion, control and contribution.
I love the idea that you can sort of like call everyone a Nazi with some like fun little lounge music in the background. There you go, a proud Fabian as well, Steve. What did you make of that?
Yeah, that's what Churchill did wrong. Not enough like grooves in the background. That's what's wrong with calling out the Nazis that way. There's so much in this video. I feel sorry for anyone who's not on the YouTube stream. If you're just listening, you missed the treat of seeing Sadiq Khan behind the lectern giving a speech, and his little chin is just about where the microphone is, isn't it? I love it whenever these short politicians have to do speeches. It really gives away what they're dealing with. They could have given him a little box to stand on. I'm sure that would have been allowed. It's amazing. He talks about the far right have framed this with hatred, while what he's doing is framing. I hate to get all technical on you, all NLP about this, but he's framing the argument from the other side as hatred. So it doesn't matter what's been said. He must be in the right because the opposite side is hatred. It's a crafty one, isn't it? It just basically means he doesn't have to partake in any discussion, any argument, and that's his thing, isn't it? You see the discussions whenever they're talking about gangs, and he always says, instead of engaging in the debate, he goes, oh, what kind of gangs do you mean? Say a word I could be offended by, and then I'll be offended, and then I win, because that's the world we live in these days.
That is so true. And do you know what really gets my goat? It's something that I keep hearing the Labour Party say is, because it's the right thing to do. I'm like, according to who? Well, we're just going to let any Tom, Dick and Harry from some sort of war-torn country with medieval misogynistic attitudes come into the United Kingdom, chuck their passports in the sea, demand a hotel room, and then go out on the grope because it's the right thing to do.
I love that. Go out on the grope is a phrase I've never heard before. But you're right. Look, everyone on both sides of any argument thinks their side is the one that's the right thing to do. Everyone is the hero of their own story. If you've not worked that out by the time you're 12, then I don't know what you're doing in life. So the fact that he's a grown man and still thinks that his argument, his side, is the one doing the right thing to do. Yeah, because maybe his argument isn't keeping people safe, isn't working out whether the infrastructure of this nation is too challenged. And even him, he's trying to spin it by saying, look, we should be talking about the upsides of legal immigration. But he just buries that word because, yeah, I don't think you find people who don't think there might be an upside to a certain amount of legal migration. There are some people who might be absolutely thinking zero, never should have been any. And they're not the people we're talking about. Most people think, OK, do you know, when I go down the old GP, I'm grateful that there's been some migration, legal migration. But it also can be true to think you can have too much of that and you don't want illegal migration. There's not two difficult concepts to keep in your head at the same time, but they pretend they can't.
I would be fascinated to learn what the actual population of London is, because I bet it's one of the biggest illegal migrant capitals of Europe. I mean, I read something the other day that apparently the reason our phone signal is so rubbish, we've got the same amount of telephone masts per capita as the rest of the world, the rest of Europe, but have we? Because what is the per capita based on? How many people are actually here? Apparently the number of SIM cards that have been given out, all these little tells. I was also reading, I don't know if this is true, that data from supermarkets, where supermarkets kind of figure out how much rubbish they're going to buy to put on our shelves and all the rest of it based upon the sort of average size of the population. And they double buy in the UK because what we're told the population is, and what it probably is, are so vastly different that they're like, blimey, we're going to have another run on toilet rolls if we don't stock up.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you are living in a country below radar, you're not going to head out to some village because you will get spotted straight away. If I turn up to a village that I don't live in, I get some funny looks. That's one of the things that villagers know how to do. American Werewolf in London. They captured it perfectly. But that means if you're not meant to be in a place, of course you're going to congregate in some big city where it's very easy to slip under the radar. Under the radar and under the 5G, by the sounds of it.
In the amazing oeuvre of a Labour Party headquarters videography comes probably one of the greatest TikTok videos of all time. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because if you've not seen this already, believe me, you're probably going to want to fall off your chair. This is our Prime Minister.
Yo, if I could do it, then why can't you? Get up and make it work. Ain't no way that I'm sitting around. It's now or never, I'm picking it first. You can't tell me that I won't make it. Knew that I had the skills since birth. Grinding, came out the mud like Roddy. I had no body, I came from dirt. Still came fuck, I put in the work. Painting a picture when I write lyrics, don't call me a rapper.
Basically, for those people listening on the radio, without the delights of seeing the visuals on the screen, it's Sir Keir Starmer standing under a load of helicopters to some grime music in the background. What is that about?
Yeah, who are they aiming this at? I mean, look, first of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. As a short politician, which he is, he's slightly taller than Rishi. Because it was him versus Rishi in the election, no one talked about how short Starmer is. You know, when you see him, Macron and Zelensky turn up, and they don't even reach, like, the knocker on number 10. No one seems to be addressing this, so he's another one of these short politicians. He's absolutely safe. He's not crouching down under a helicopter. You know, everyone else is a bit, well, you want to be careful of those. He's never been that high in his life. But, yeah, which voter does he think is going to be impressed by very difficult to listen to music with him? And you look at it and you think, I pray to something that this is AI, and it's not. It would be slightly better if someone had deep fake grokked him to look like this. But no, he's trying to look like some cool dude, which is the biggest reach I've ever seen. Which voter is it who was like, I'm not really convinced about how I'm going to vote, but play me a video again with some really difficult to understand grime music. That might be the thing that sways me. Is he trying to get the pensioners back on board with this?
Also, I don't think he's sort of internationally celebrated as being some sort of hard man, solving wars, going out on the front line with the troops, flying the copters, standing up for British interests. He's actually going cap in hand over to China to say, can you take over more of our industries? Oh, look, here's the mega embassy that the intelligence agencies have told us specifically not to build. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, coolly walking back from a helicopter after giving away some territory. Boom, 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 if he would have got away with it. If it weren't for those pesky Tories finding a treaty, he might have done. I mean, if this does make him seem sexy, please let me know, because I can make videos like this. I could get that music and have me slowly walking around, you know, not really doing much. That bit where he's wearing his headphones as well, trying to look... It's probably because he was in the helicopter, but he's trying to DJ. His head's at an angle. He's pretending he's Norman Cook, isn't he? That's my references. So, yeah, if this does make him sexy, please let me know.
But, you know, this is like a sort of huge development from the man who, at the start of, you know, is trying to get elected as, you know, leader of the Labour Party and Prime Minister campaign, was sort of sitting on the Good Morning Britain sofa talking about going to Taylor Swift. All of a sudden, he's like, Mr. International Hard Man, down with the kids, listening to the rap. It's like, come on, son. You're just not, are you?
No, the best bit was remember the one was it just last week, wasn't it, where the music in the background said, I can't tell because she's foreign. You think, oh mate, you're living back up to your strangers island of strangers vibes, but you have to retreat on that one. They've got no clue what they're doing. I don't know which intern is in charge of making these videos, but it's not going to work. It almost makes me think there's some big recruitment of Tories or maybe reform interns that they've got together. They've sent into Labour HQ just to try and convince them that this is a good idea. Put some drill music. Have someone talking about some crimes they did in some area of London while Keir Starmer sits there and does paperwork in a video. That'll please them.
Did you see the photo? Oh my gosh, did you see the Burns night photo of Sir Keir Starmer sitting at a desk and someone's just put a ton of tea cake and a can of iron brew in front of him? Oh, there you go. Look at him. He loves a bit of Scotland.
Yeah, he's one of us. He likes one of those snacks.
Oh, it's just so mad. And actually, I think the one who really started trying to do all the TikTok videos was Ed Miliband. But every time you see one, it's a bit like a Nick Park Halloween special.
Nick Park and Tim Burton mix and match. Yeah, exactly that kind of vibe. Yeah, I don't know why they do. Honestly, I mean, as much as seems like a joke earlier, but genuinely, what audience do they think wants to see middle-aged, greying, like men Labour Party types and grime music? There's no overlap in that Venn diagram. This is pleasing no one, isn't it?
Nobody wants that. No one asked for it. Although I do feel like it's a bit of a gift. I enjoyed every second of it, I must admit, for its comedic value. Similarly, I quite enjoy every now and then watching Zach Polanski run. In fact, if I was in charge of the Olympics Committee of the United Kingdom, I'd be selecting him for 100 metres just for the entertainment value. But he's been out and about dancing in Heaven nightclub, no less. And you know, the thing is with Zach Polanski, is I was talking with Dean about this yesterday on the phone. I kind of feel like if you went to a local village hall to watch a Hearsay tribute act, he'd be in there somewhere. He kind of looks like that Shrekky one, doesn't he? Like with his sort of like, you know, big coat and his funny teeth. It's like, who are you?
That's fantastic, yeah. I mean, look, he was seen out partying. I suppose there is a tradition of this. We all remember with a slight level of shock and horror and some flashbacks waking up with sweats of Michael Gove dancing at a party. So look, politicians in general shouldn't dance. But if you're in charge of the Greens, I guess you should, because I guess this is right up your street. Before with Labour, who are you trying to impress? Whereas with this one, wow, you know, the guy who's in charge of the Greens has gone out to party with people of the LGBTQ, all the rest of the letters thing. Yeah, because they're the people you think are going to vote for you. This is literally campaigning. This is like doorstepping just in nightclubs.
Oh, we've got to watch it now, haven't we? We've got to watch him getting his alphabet dance moves on. Here he is. Hit it up, Polanski.
Are we ready to take on power and wealth? Are we ready to get our country back? Are we ready to make hope normal again? And make some noise!
Oh, do you know what? We didn't actually get to watch him dancing. We did get to watch him dressed in some sort of, I don't know, children's entertainer jumper and saying that he wants to attack wealth. I mean, yes, that pretty much sums up the Green Party. Let's go after the wealth. We don't like wealth in this country. Brilliant. Well, by the time you might get into power, it's all gone anyway. The Labour Party have paid to that lot. And I find it quite funny that he's also saying, take back control.
Yes, interesting, isn't it? I mean, all the things he said. If you were seeing it written down in a newspaper rather than shouted out loud in that jumper, you could give a different spin on it. He first said, are you ready to take on wealth and power? I am, if you'd like to give me some. I would love some wealth and power. Actually, I'm like taking on water. I will take on some of that. And then he said, yeah, take our country back. And the next sentence had the word normal in it. You're thinking, are you sure this is the script from your party? I think you might have nicked this from someone else, because these are the words that normally you'd see, you know, take back control, take back our country, make something normal again. It feels like it's the other side of the debate normally shouting that.
I can see that he has got one big sell to the alphabet community, which is particularly those men who put on a dress and identify as women. At least he can sort of promise them that, you know, he can give them an hour-long session to try and grow them some boobs.
This is why I always get worried about saying mean things about Zach, because if he genuinely has the ability to make boobs grow, I'm scared he might creep up behind me, whisper something in my ear, and as a middle-aged man, I'm already struggling in that department enough. The last thing I need is bigger ones. So I have to walk around with headphones on just so he can't, like, sneak up and just look into my eyes. Next thing you know, I've got a D cup.
Oh, do you think that's why Sir Keir Starmer has to always be, like, the sound of helicopters behind him and the giant cans on his ear in case Polanski's somewhere there trying to, like, hypnotise him? Someone's got an old 90s cassette that they're going to shove into the car radio or something.
Yeah, this is why you shouldn't give the guy, as much as that jumper was lovely, I'm sure it was, you should not give him a microphone, because he could use that to make everyone in there absolutely stacked.
Like he could, couldn't he? Do you know, I always think, he's a weird phenomenon, Polanski. I kind of feel like he's been artificially created. The man's not elected. He ain't even going to try and run in the Gorton by-election. You'd think that's Manchester, mate. You're not going to get a fruitier opportunity than that coming up before the next election. And he sort of appeared from nowhere and was foisted upon us on every single programme. There he was, doing his funny run with his sort of like Forrest Gump legs. And I'm like, he's not particularly bright. He's not particularly charismatic. He does a massive disservice to UK dentistry. He doesn't even have any sort of politics other than hating money, hating, I don't know, patriotism, hating the British.
Well, but to be fair, let's just list, shall we, all of the policies he has that focus on green issues. No, wait a minute. As the Green Party, you think they might have some, and yet they're all economic, aren't they? The Green Party should be, as they used to do, for all that we can remember, from Friends of the Earth all the way through, just hearing people talk about carbon, they love a bit of that, give me some temperatures, give me some numbers, all that stuff. That's normally what they obsess about. You don't hear a word of that from him, and yet he's got this idea of printing money, or they call it modern economic theory, to make it seem like it's fancy money. You mean printing some money and ignoring what happens with inflation? As if during a time when people are struggling with inflation, you'd imagine you couldn't sell this, but they're trying to. They're rebranding it, modern economic theory.
But what I don't understand is that there's definitely a group of people out there, they're the same ones, aren't they, who's go, oh, Jeremy Corbyn and all of that, magic grandpa lovers. But there's a flank of people who actually think this guy's got the answers.
Yeah, but honestly, you run it past anyone who's done like one course in economics and you see the flaw in it. But the problem is no one's having that debate. So we're not showing up the fact that this economically makes no sense. And the problem is you get someone on who knows about economics and they'll just rebrand them as being, the old school, the fluster, the old way of doing it. Well, it's time to take back control of the money printing press. That's what they're going to do, try and storm the Royal Mint at some stage. That's the closest thing they've got to some sort of an idea. And all it will do is ruin things economically. The one area they have policies on will bring ruin to that area. So I'd rather they go back to talking about recycling.
I wish they would as well. I don't mind a bit of recycling. If he went after that fly tipping, I'd all be for him. Someone needs to do something about that business. Everywhere now has become a fly tip, apparently. Steve, don't you go anywhere. Go and pour yourself a stiff drink because we want you on fine form.